You look at the stats from that Warriors-Knicks game, and it's almost even across the board in team stats. But the Knicks won the non-stat category, right? The energy, the effort, and the force. And that's a staple of a Tom Thibodeau team as this Knicks team continues to, I think in a lot of people's eyes, overachieve and impress, particularly Jalen Brunson. And anytime you're dealing with someone with a skull that size, you know you're facing immense strength. No, but that, he's his center of gravity and his strength to go along with his craft and skill, man. He just continues again to way exceed what I thought he could be. And I think even for Knick fans, right? And once he gets that shoulder onto you and he gets downhill, there's not a whole lot you can do with him. He's got the touch, the footwork. He can step through, pump fake. And you can tell, I think, that he learned a lot in his time with Luka, right? And listen, he was a very good player before that at Villanova, but I think that helped him as well. I thought we were too high on the ball screens with him, right? And you're meeting him up way above the three-point line. I get it. He can shoot the three, but to me, it's the lesser of evils. He wants to get down into that mid-range. And then again, once he puts that shoulder on you, it's problematic for anybody. But, the other issue with them destroying us in the pick and roll, making Hartenstein look like Embiid in the first, 6 minutes of the game is in that pick and roll coverage, the low man tagging is always like a 6-foot guard, right? We're just too small and we know it, and we have to overcompensate and send doubles and help to these just generic centers. And that's no disrespect. That I'd love for us to have Hartenstein, right? But just these guys that are just run-of-the-mill bigs, we have to overreact to, and it's taxing. Let's talk about Draymond, though, because to me, that's the story of this game and really maybe the story moving forward here in the next week or two. And, he finally admitted to the lower back issues, and he sat out, one game, right? And then he was back for the Laker game. Look, I get it. I can totally see where he would have a bad back playing the center position. One, he's always having to outreach and try to stretch and match verticality with 7-footers, not to mention their weight. He's giving up 30, 40, 50 pounds at times where he's trying to, hold his positioning. So I can easily see where his back is in a bad place right now. That said, next man up. He has to sit. And I know a lot is being made right now about the starting lineup and the lack of firepower and how it's struggling. To me, I think in the immediate future, there's a very simple solution. Draymond has to sit and Trace is inserted into the starting lineup. Because Dre right now is at a point where he's hurting the team. He hurt the team last night. And again, I'm not trying to put it on him. It just is what it is. The tape is the tape, and he knows it. He knows it to be true. And you get it. It's the final stretch run of the season. They're fighting for this play-in stuff. But heck, I'd probably even sit Steph against Memphis right now. I think we might have a better chance just running the young guns out there. And I said it in today's breakdown. I think there's an element where Steph and Dre, they're looking at each other and they're like, look, man, we're both chipped up. Deep down inside, we know ultimately we ain't got enough to make a real run this season. And so the human nature element of it is you naturally kind of let your foot off the pedal. And you saw that from Steph last night. And I get it, he's dealing with an ankle as well, but the amount of times he got backdoored last night was like bad boy records level. I'll leave that there. I've got that off like 3 times today. Enough. And so, yeah, there's that. And again, the starting lineup, listen, it's funny. It's funny, the Pods haters and the Wiggins haters, what's the meme where the Bloods and the Crips, they like join hands, right? It's like, listen, both of them have to let it fly from 3. Pods in particular. There was that play in transition where he was pushing the ball right down the middle of the floor and he kind of circled around and waited for Draymond, and then Draymond gave it back to him and he smoked a layup. He needs to let it go like he's at Santa Clara. And I'm not saying hunt threes, but any open 3 from Podziemski, you got to take it. At Wiggins, it's a little different because his ability to do finish downhill, but they have to shoot more 3s right now because we're hurting for offense. Steph is hurt. Draymond can't push the tempo and get as easy looks for the team as he's used to doing. And then Moses makes a surprise appearance last night, right? And what did I tell you? A lot of his shots are kind of end-of-clock tough shots, and he knocked it down to his credit. played a good 5 minutes, and then he was gone. Apparently, what does he have? Left knee soreness? So you hate to hear that. I went through the tape today. I couldn't see a play where it happened. I don't know if it's kind of just like a tendonitis type of thing, hopefully. But that was unfortunate because it looked like he was going to get an opportunity, right? I guess the other conversation would be, hey, you got to move Clay back into the starting lineup. I don't agree. I think big picture, listen, it's unfair. You've already asked him to make this huge adjustment and he's playing so well. Just for the short term or just for right now, I don't think you can say, hey, now start. Like, ooh, our bad. I don't think you can do that just because even big picture moving forward, I think that this is going to be the way for him, regardless of what uniform he's wearing. But let's talk about Clay's game last night because to my recollection, it was the greatest passing game of Clay's career. Now, he tied a career high, 8 assists. I guess he's done it 4 other times, but it was how he did it. There were a couple of them where it was plan B, right? It was patience. It was boom, boom. I don't have what I want, woo, woo, and found something else. We see the Trace connection, the swing. It's just all coming together for him. And if he is going to play that way, where he's not going to have his mind made up, and he's gonna understand how the defense is playing him, get shots for others, and still find ways to score. Again, he's in the perfect role. I don't think we alter that just because of this. Because again, big picture, what are we doing here anyway? What are we doing here anyway this season? So again, what I would do just for at least this week is I would say, hey, Draymond, you need a week. Like he just can't move out there, and it's not good. We all older heads, when you have a bad lower back, it doesn't get better by playing. It doesn't, and I get it. You can't just sit still and sit a lot because that will hurt it too. You got to be proactive, but playing the 5 spot at 6'7" isn't proactive when it comes to back problems. And so I think as tough as it is at this point in the season, Draymond's going to need some rest and lean into Trace Jackson, who, man, he'd have had 30 last night if he played more and they found him. That's the other thing I had highlighted in today's breakdown with Kuminga. We're seeing the evolution of his playmaking, but he got a little frustrated down the stretch there, and I think he probably felt like he needed to carry because they were struggling, and he got a little bullish, but he's not quite comfortable yet making the trailer bounce pass to the middle, which Trace, he missed him a couple times in that second half. Now, the dunks and the shot blocking are always going to steal the show for Trace, but we're starting to see his passing. If you go back and watch his Indiana tape, and I'm sure one of the reasons they really liked him was he can pass out of the short roll. He makes quick decisions. He makes accurate passes. And how about the ability to switch out on the perimeter? He switched out on a Brunson possession and forced him into a difficult shot, and we've started to see more of that as he played. Now, I know LeBron kind of had him in the classroom the other night in Los Angeles, but that's an anomaly, right? How many big body guys like that is he going to be switching out on? Not a lot. And so I think that that's a big deal moving forward. And he looks like he's ready for more on his plate. Draymond needs rest. It's the logical decision right now. And so, yeah, man, the Knicks, while depleted, are just a better team at this point. So as frustrating as it was to watch, I wasn't surprised at the result. And again, I think the question as we enter these final 15 games is how much longer do they lean on a chipped up Steph and Draymond down this home stretch here when, again, big picture for what? Is it time to just lean into these young guys, let them rest a little bit, and let the chips fall where they may be? If we miss the play-in, you get the play-in. Ultimately, I think they know, we know, the Warriors aren't contenders this season. So again, I ask, at what point here do you start kind of looking towards next year? Shout out my guy, Orange and Blue Tears, a good Knick content creator. You can check him out on YouTube. Hey, y'all are impressive, man. You're depleted. You're still winning. You've got you got a bunch of overachievers, and I don't mean that insulting. What I would worry about is the same thing you worry about with every Tom Thibodeau-led team. What was it? Josh Hart, the triple-double. He played every minute. Young McBride played like 46 minutes last night. Brunson has the ball so much. You just wonder, even if y'all do get healthy and you do have depth, what do you look like in a second round matchup or an Eastern Conference matchup as far as your energy levels and how the guys are holding up physically? Because we know Tibbs he wears these guys down to the bone. and it's a culture. And on a night-to-night basis, it's tough to match. But we all know ultimately this is a marathon, not a sprint. Grizzlies Wednesday. Obviously, it's a must-win game. I say roll with the young guns. Let Steph and Draymond rest this week. That's how I feel. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.